This is The Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Good afternoon, Tuscaloosa, Internet world, West Alabama. How we doing today on this Tuesday? Welcome into the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral, BamaCentral.com. You're watching us on the BamaCentral YouTube channel or checking us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon. We appreciate everybody who's jumping in and joining us on the podcast platforms. The podcast numbers, Mason Woods, are going up, up, up. And so I appreciate everybody who joined us. December was the best month so far on the show. I give all credit to you, Mason Woods, and to the listeners, everybody hitting that subscribe button, everybody hitting that like button, sending a DM. They said, hey, listen to what these jokers have to say about Alabama football and more. We appreciate you guys so much for the growth that we've seen. And we are ready to get into a Tuesday in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios right here off McFarland Boulevard. Call Derek Daniel and his team for all your insurance needs. Home, life, auto insurance, renter's insurance. You got boaters insurance coming up with the summer months. All kinds of insurance needs. Derek and his team, Red, Reese, and Victoria, will be happy to take care of you. Call them at 205-758-3391. Call and see how much Derek can save you today. Mason Woods, good morning. How are you? We got a decent amount to get into today.
Yeah, doing good. You know, it was the news started popping off a little bit late last night. We can get into it now. You know, I'm excited to get into it. Some interesting news, I'll say.
Yeah, well, okay. Before we get little rundown. We'll just tell everybody what we are going to get into on the show. We invite you to jump in on the comment section at Joe Gaither 6 or right there in the Bama Central YouTube comments right there. We're going to talk about Dre'lyn Washington, who this guy is, transferring in from Louisiana. We're going to talk about Labaron Philon winning his third SEC Freshman of the Week award. We'll talk about Keelon Russell coming to Tuscaloosa. We got a lot of loose ends. Zachariah Branch, Ajayi Hall, Paul Feinbaum having some comments about Kalen DeBoer. Paul Feinbaum, are you just out of touch with Alabama football? He says that the seat for Kalen DeBoer is what? Piping hot? Is that what he says?
I think that's what
I'll circle back to the quote when we get to it. That's basically going to be our end of the.
Has he just reached that point of his media career where he's just on the tail end now?
He's just not on the hot. I mean, maybe it's a teen's warm. Maybe it's we got to have improvement on this year. Okay, that's fine. That's fair. But are you about ready to fire him? Absolutely not. I think you're still miles away from firing Kalen DeBoer. Maybe you're not, and you guys can correct me. But if I am in charge of Alabama athletics, which I am not, Greg Byrne does an excellent job doing that. I'm still miles away from firing Greg Byrne. So we'll talk about Paul Feinbaum and those crazy quotes. But we got to start with last night. Mason Woods, your first Monday Night Raw since you were a child. How do you rate it?
I would give it like a solid 8 out of 10. I had a good time. I mean, 8.5 even. I enjoyed myself. It was a little bit just odd at first. You know, I think it just because I haven't watched it in so long. You know, I remember it being different than it was. You know, you watch it as a kid, and you're like, you still kind of. The magic is still there a little bit. You still kind of think like maybe this is real. Like this could be real. I don't know. That guy's really bleeding. You know. But you watch it as an adult, it's a little bit slower than you remember. You can see the choreography a little bit more, but it was still a great time. I really enjoyed it. It was just fun. I think I don't know who said it. I saw a clip on Twitter. Maybe it was Triple H after the fact talking about it and how people were like upset about kind of losing the like illusion of it or something. And he was just talking about like, this is what we do. Everyone who watches it, they know what they're getting into now. The fan base of this is not the same as it used to be. They're watching this to be entertained. They're not watching this to be tricked into maybe this is real wrestling.
Absolutely. Oh.
Breaking news?
Yeah, but I mean, it's minor and it's silly. And this is a perfect place to jump off the wrestling and get our audience back. We appreciate that. And I hope you enjoyed Monday Night Raw. If you watch it on Netflix, you give it a BB+. As someone who's been watching every episode for a hot minute, it was a little underwhelming for what was promised, but I think it was a very good introductory episode for, hey, come watch wrestling. Here's us on Netflix.
It certainly seemed like the environment inside the Intuit Dome was electric.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, breaking news, and we'll add this to the docket, and we'll actually get back on topic. Amari Jefferson, we already knew you were in the transfer portal, my friend, has made it official. He is going to the dark side, to the Tennessee Vols. And, okay, again, not a big loss as far as what Alabama's roster looks like. And, oh, my gosh, are we – I mean, I think he's going to be a good player. Sure. He could be a player. But just thinks to see him go to Tennessee. That's all. A little personal reaction. Amari Jefferson is on to the Vols.
I had to replace Squirrel White.
Balls are back.
Feels like 98.
Shoot. Had the best season ever since 98. No SEC championship. No national title. Good job on your playoff appearance, getting blown out in Columbus. Great job. You beat Alabama. Great job. You did.
Yeah, sure.
You
beat what many will call the worst Alabama team of the last 20 years, 15 years.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely 18. Like you're basically comparing this team to 2010 to 2007 and earlier.
Good on you, Tennessee.
That's not good.
Good on you.
That's not good. All right, so let's get into last night's news. You're watching Monday Night Raw, and you did a great thing for us because I didn't. I saw the notification, and I said, I don't know who this Dre'lyn Washington is. I'm watching wrestling. Dre'lyn Washington transfers in Louisiana, and I'm just going to look at this 54-yard run against Georgia Southern. I've got him popped into the YouTube machine looking for highlights and stats. I've got to say, Mason, the sports reference stats, I'm not real sure what's going on right here.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I don't really know what they want his role to be. He was in 3 seasons at Louisiana for the Raging Cajuns. He was never the feature back there. He totaled right around 1,300 yards in 3 seasons. So, not horrible production, but never overwhelmingly impressive production. One that would kind of lead you to believe, he's ready to make this jump from Louisiana to a Power 5. You see that a lot, but it's just kind of an odd pickup to me. Maybe you want a little extra depth behind Richard Young, behind Jam back there. So he can provide that, I think. He did a little bit in the passing game. I think he had 6 catches last year, 100 yards and a score. So he can do that. Yeah, it's just kind of an odd pickup. I'm a little perplexed by it as well.
The one thing that I did just hear from this makes sense standpoint, you said depth. I heard, Alabama likes to have 6 running backs. Count them off now for us. You got a Jam Miller, you got Richard Young, you got A.K. Deere, Daniel Hill, Kevin Riley, and now Dre'lyn Washington. There's your 6th. I've got his highlights pulled up right here. And so he's been playing with Louisiana. He's only got 1 more year of eligibility, right? So it's one and done right here. I guess run the doors off me. I see him in these little highlights being effective in these two clips are wide zones, basically. These 2 clips are stretch plays. And those are plays that Alabama really was lacking this year, I think, and plays that Ryan Grubb ran a lot in his offense. Now here's him out of the backfield getting a reception for a touchdown. Okay, that's just like 4 yards in the flats. Great. Here's him again, inside zone. He cuts it back inside. He's shifty, but we're playing against. We're playing against, who is this? Western Texas or whatever.
He was a track athlete in high school too, so he's got some good speed. Looks like he.
Okay, that was a nice cut. He cuts back on the safety, finds the backside, and boom, he's out.
2-way player in high school, played offense and defense. So just a good athlete.
These are some home run hits. I mean, early in his highlights.
They see the bits and pieces of it and think, all right, well, we could use a guy to get a couple carries here and there.
Here we go. Another straight dive play. We found the seam and touchdown. Here's another kind of inside zone. We pop it outside and 45 yards down to the goal line. Inside zone, found the zone, 8-yard touchdown. I mean, okay, we're playing Arkansas State and the like, but got a little explosion. We like that. Dre'lyn Washington last year played in 11 games, took 73 carries, 478 yards, and 5 touchdowns. He had 6 catches for 170 yards and another touchdown. As you said, career-wise, 229 carries for 1,300 yards, 9 touchdowns on the ground, 15 receptions for 155 yards, and 2 touchdowns total. I think it's just maybe a depth piece.
Yes,
I think it's just
a
guy that, hey, if Jam and Richard need a break, if AK is not quite ready, if Daniel Hill is not quite ready, which I think
got experience,
right?
Yeah, I see it.
And plus, we got to remember the roster's going from 85 to 105, so you got a little more room, and you can now take some of these fringe guys who, like, hey, you might have walked on here.
Yeah,
not saying that he's going to walk on here, but the threshold from 85 to 86 was then walk on, right? Used to be walk on. 85 scholarship, 86 walk on. Well, now it's 105 all scholarship guys. You got some room there
to just kind of
where you're shopping. Well, yeah, you're shopping for a different athlete.
Yeah.
You're not shopping for the walk on, for the preferred walk on, for hey, we like you, but
we need a practice body,
right? I think this might make sense. What do you make of that concept?
No, I think that makes sense. It's definitely just as a depth piece, kind of. We needed an extra guy back there, and since we are going to have the opportunity to have an expanded scholarship limit, might as well get a guy with a good bit of experience and not have to get some guy who really couldn't provide you much at that position if he was asked to do anything.
Shoot, who's playing walk-on running back this coming year? Like, what are they going to do? Are they just going to make some of the backing guys that are already just practice bodies just be like, hey, bud, your lucky day. You're on scholarship now.
I hope so. I hope that's what happens to some of them, maybe all of them. Who knows? I don't think moving forward, I think moving forward.
You think about the Roby kids, Jackson Roby and his younger brother, was it? I can't remember.
Yeah. I think moving forward, it definitely kind of changes the outlook on recruiting and things like that. And I don't really know long term. I don't know. It's just kind of strange to me. I understand it from the perspective of, what really are these remaining, after the 85? What were those kids after that really doing?
In my years of covering high school football, several of the the local kids that have played well have walked on over there. You think about the Lanier kids, some of the Lanier kids. You think about Sawyer Dearman walked on over there. You think about not Preston Lancaster. He's at TA now, but he's got a goodness gracious. TA had another athlete that walked on over there. TA's had a couple athletes that have gone over there to walk on. And so it's been a nice way for some of the, I know that Northridge, obviously Wilkins on scholarship, but Northridge has had a few walk-ons as well over there.
I think maybe you see those kind of spots just dry up a bit and get given elsewhere to maybe players who are of a slightly higher caliber, who are actually being, offered.
Is this the way that you solve your depth issue because the transfer portal sucks 20 guys away every year?
It might be it.
So you just expand your roster by, what is it now? Did they make it 105 or 100?
105.
So yeah, a flat 20, extra 20.
I think that kind of makes sense putting it that way. I haven't even really considered that until now. That definitely makes sense. It seems like a pretty decent countermeasure.
But they shouldn't just axe the walk-on. If your program can still afford to fund them, or still afford, they're paying for the dang school.
Yeah,
they're paying to be the tackling dummies. No offense, really, but just try to put it with some hyperbole. They're paying to be the cannon fodder.
You're not wrong.
Why not keep letting them?
Sure. I mean, I would maybe use.
If we have thought that we need 120 bodies, and that's really what it's been, 120. If we need 120 bodies to have a practice, just let the other 20 guys pay their way to.
I mean, but if you can have people who, in a pinch, you could throw it on the field and feel pretty decent about them, why not get those guys?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, the rosters, I think that my impression is that now it's a hard cap at 105 and they're all on scholarship.
Yeah.
No more walk-ons. Why not let it be at 120 and let those extra 15 guys just still keep paying their way?
Yeah,
like, fine. Expand the roster to 105. Yes. Cool, no problem.
Okay, I'm with you now. Yeah, no, I don't really think I would have an issue with that. I don't personally. This is just me. I've never really understood the plight of a walk-on athlete, especially at a place like Alabama. I mean, it's very cool, I'm sure, to play for
What do you mean, the plight?
Well, I just, why?
Because they love the Tide, Mason.
Sure, but man, go like play at a Division II school or
something. Man, I don't
go to school for free somewhere.
I don't love West Alabama. I love the Tide.
Yeah, I don't think that way. That's never, there was kids who I went to high school with who talked about like, well, maybe I'll try to walk. I was like, why would you do that? Why would you try to walk on somewhere? Either go somewhere that wants you to come play there and will pay you to come play there, pay for your school.
Just means more to me.
You're just going to make your 4 years of school insanely difficult and you get nothing out of it. You might, luckily you might get a ring. You get some cool gear.
You're going to be in some good social circles. And
are you?
Probably cooler than you would have been if you were just Joe Schmo.
Sure, maybe.
If you were just me walking through Burke Hall, right?
I don't know. I've never really understood it. To me, it's just like a whole lot of crap that you got to go through you don't really get much out of it as a walk-on.
You're gonna get some post-graduation job connections. Yeah, Coach Saban can pull some strings for you.
Sure.
Now, Coach DeBoer, you don't have any connections here. What are we going to do? What are we going to do?
I don't know.
This foreigner from South Dakota, from the liberal left coastie from Washington. He don't know nobody. He can't connect our walk-ons to local businessmen no more.
I don't know. Good. Look, you'll always hear the success story of the one walk-on that made it, earned a starting job, earned a scholarship.
Levi Wallace.
Sure. There's always the one.
Rashad Johnson.
There's always a couple.
There's two. Vinny Sinceri. Well, Vinny was on scholarship, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm. I believe so.
Was Will Lowry a walk-on that got promoted to a scholarship as well? It always is these safeties and defensive backs.
I just, to me, it never really made a lot of sense to me. But more power to you, if you want to put yourself through that, good on you. I'm not going to stop anybody. Hey man, go play somewhere that will offer you money to play there or that will pay for your school. Why are you setting yourself up with such a difficult 4 years?
Let's keep talking about football before we get to Labaron Philon. Yesterday, a lot of new Alabama football players enrolled or came to Tuscaloosa. Let's see. Yesterday was Keelon Russell's day. Micah DeBose came yesterday as well. You're going to get today Dijon Lee, tomorrow Michael Carroll, tomorrow Latia Brooks. That's kind of where we are, according to our friends at Bama Online. We appreciate them for all, helping us out there. Mm-hmm. But we did see Keelon Russell coming to Tuscaloosa on the Twitter machine. That was very much public knowledge because he Instagrammed it out and somebody screen capped it, and I just copied and pasted the screen cap because what are we doing here, Keelon? Look. You're a freshman. You're 18, 19, whatever age you are, 18, I'm sure. It's your first day. It's cool. But we got to lay some ground rules, my friend. You're going to be a great player. You're going to be a great player. We believe in you. And I don't think you're a bad kid whatsoever. This is not about that whatsoever at all. But we don't need to be going 89 miles an hour anywhere in this city. Sorry, we don't.
It's a nice car, too.
I'm
pretty sure it's a Benz.
Highway 69 North and South. We're right here at the Derek Daniel State Farm Studio, just off Highway 69 North, past McFarland Boulevard, past the Tiger Rock on the left. I love Highway 69. And look, I did get pulled over. Full disclosure here. Goodness gracious, was this 2013, maybe 2014, 15, somewhere around here? About 10 years ago, going 90 miles an hour on Highway 69 South, going just over that hill as you get down to the, what is that? The Lowe's, the Outback, the Arby's right there. So, yeah, I'm guilty of that for sure. But that was a lesson learned. That cost me a good like 220, 250, something like that, right into the city's pockets. Justifiably so. Not complaining for that. I was in the wrong. Keelon Russell, we hope you have a long, successful career. The first way to do that is to slow down.
I believe that's a BMW, judging by that gauge cluster.
Oh, yeah?
Car, I think. You know, a little just
Your car guy, what do you see in this car?
I think I can't really tell much. It's a very dark picture, but just by the gauges, I think it might be a BMW. And he's whipping it pretty quick. Looks like he's let's just slow it down.
What's your top speed ever? Nobody's listening. We're into the episode now. We're into that point where people have turned us off.
120-ish.
Yeah, I think I've hit that 120, 130.
Yeah, right around
on I-59. I must have been 09, 10, 11, somewhere around there. 09. Yeah.
This was in the old car. I used to have the little faster one. That was fun.
Oh, that's the reason.
One time though. So, not too much.
That's the reason that Mazda 626 did not have a very long life. I said,
I want to do the thing where they let you get out on Talladega and do the lap. I want to do that so bad.
Oh yeah, you should. Yeah, Melissa. I know you're the real role listener. Set that up for Mason's birthday. Let's keep it going here. I mean, Keelon. Look, I think he's gonna have a great career, and I just wanted to. If you're going to drive that fast, don't.
Maybe he was going with the flow of traffic.
He probably was. He probably was. But my comment was going to lead to he probably was, and it's fine because everybody goes fast. But like, don't Instagram it.
Yeah.
That's the other part.
That's the worst part.
Like, hey, bud, let's show a little better judgment. Hey, if we're gonna Instagram, hey, I'm in Tuscaloosa. Hey, I'm here. Welcome home, or ready to work, or whatever it's gonna be. I can't remember what the caption was. Ready, let's make sure we're driving 68 or something. Just for the looks, like Jalen Milroe, the media department, they'll teach you that, how to sanitize your life, how to make sure that this doesn't happen again. That you will quickly be devoid of all personality, I'm sure. But that's one thing we can tailor ourselves to. Do you want to talk about Labaron Philon?
Sure.
Labaron Philon,
once again,
SEC Freshman of the Week for the third time this season. The only freshman this year to be named SEC Freshman of the Week 3 different times. On the season, my man's averaging 12 points, averaging 3.8 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.5 steals, half a block, getting it done. Really only shooting 28% from three-point range, but really playing absurdly well.
He is, we've said it, he is the everything man. He just does everything for Alabama. It's like anytime there's a loose ball, LeBaron's after it. Anytime there's a play to be made, LeBaron is likely the one making it or the one, receiving the pass to go score or something. He has just a very, very instinctual feel for the game, and it has been very apparent in the first, 14 games?
So what do you think about going over on the road, South Carolina? You got the first SEC road game of the season tomorrow night. We're going to hear from Nate Oates, 12:30 in the media room in Coleman Coliseum here in just a little bit. So you can find that on the BamaCentral YouTube channel. I'll be over there. Katie Wyndham, Hunter DeCiver, the whole gang will be in there asking Coach Oates some questions. If you got a question you want me to ask, feel free to drop in the comment section. Leave it in there at Joe Gaither 6, and we can see if we can work it in. But
they play Sandstorm at the basketball games too.
Probably, I would bet they do. They are they're 10-4. We're all 4 of our losses. How many losses are at home? We lost at home to North Florida in the first game of the year. Was that at home or was that in some exhibition game? Then we lost at Indiana, lost to Xavier, and then lost at Mississippi State. What else am I? Where's my fourth one? No,
Mississippi State.
Yes, there's your fourth one. Duh, Joe. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fort Myers, they lost in Xavier and Fort Myers Beach. But yes, you lost at home in the season opener to North Florida.
That's ugly.
Or to the Ospreys.
Losing a bye game to the Ospreys, the epitome of brutality.
So my question about Labaron and how I want to further this conversation and throw it your way is, we love Mark Sears from your neck of the woods, parts unknown Alabama. He's played so well.
Mm-hmm.
How much of what Mark Sears is doing this year is enabled by Labaron's just kind of, I wish I had a better word for it, but pitbull nature of just instinct. I'm going after it. I know what I'm doing. Like not I know what I'm doing, but like everything is so instinctual that I'm just reacting. And his tank is bleeping seems to never end. And so he's always going. And that's the reason I say pitbull energy, because I think about my dog Abby, and she is always on like instinct. What do I have to do next?
Yeah, always on 10.
And I think that if you are an experienced player, maybe like Mark Sears, who's able to let the game sort of come to him, he can kind of say, "Hey man, go off and do this, go off and do that, and I'll just play off you a little bit, or I'll just kind of pull the strings a little bit of this off." I mean, 10 assists last game. I'm just going to pull the strings of all this offense, and I'll let my friend over here clean up the mess. I'll let my friend stick his nose in there and let the ball pop out, or stick his nose in there and get a layup, and stick his nose in there and pop it out for an assist. What do you think Labaron does for Mark Sears?
I think really like he really just kind of unlocks him and allows him to. I don't want to say take a step back, because that's the wrong way to put it, because he's not taking a step back, but really kind of just have a better view of the whole court and be able to just make and facilitate more and not have to be the guy who is doing the things that Labaron does, diving after everything, getting your head in there and trying to make plays happen by yourself. He can really be the point guard, really be the quarterback of the offense out there. I think it's allowed Mark to play less aggressively, but not in a sense that he's not trying to score, just in a sense that he's not playing as recklessly, maybe.
If you were able to give Nate Oates some truth serum, and I think he does speak pretty truthfully always, usually, but if you were able to give him some truth serum and made him choose, Nate, coach, look, you got two great freshmen. They're both going to be in the NBA first round, Darian Reed and Labaron Philon. Which one's your favorite?
I think he picked Labaron.
Which one?
It's an attitude thing. I love Darian Reed.
I think Darian's got the dog in him too.
He does. But I think with Labaron, there's just like an extra layer to it. I don't know what it is. I can't really. It's you know it when you see it. You can't define it though. Labaron's got it. Darian Reed is great, and he is much more physically imposing. Obviously, I think he probably has a higher ceiling as a player. But I don't know. It's just the instinct that Labaron plays with is something that you cannot teach anybody.
Oh my gosh, South Carolina, that got destroyed by Mississippi State, 85-50. And I'm just trying to look and be like, well, what are we going to see tomorrow night? South Carolina was 2 of 19 from behind the arc. Please do that again. You will not survive.
It'll be over in the first 10 minutes.
They got out rebounded by Mississippi State 40-32. Mississippi State only had 8 offensive rebounds though. So okay, good. You cleared the defensive glass pretty decently, I guess. You had 14 South Carolina had 14 turnovers. Only had 3 fast break points off the 10 turnovers gained by Mississippi State. So I guess Mississippi State probably didn't have a whole lot of live ball turnovers. South Carolina outscored in the paint 52-24. Never led the whole game. Wait, they were 16 of 23 from the free throw line, so they did get to the line pretty decently. 16 of 55 from the floor, all for the whole game. You made 16 shots from the floor.
That's painful. That's real bad. That's so bad that you definitely can't count on that.
That's last in the league.
Are you going to be last in the league, South Carolina?
That's bad. That's really, really bad.
So what's it? So what's it going to be? You remember what was the last time Alabama went to South Carolina? The Brandon Miller. The night after.
It may have been. Yeah.
I think it was the last time they went to South Carolina. I don't know if they played them in between there, but I think that's the last time that Alabama went to South Carolina was the Brandon Miller. I think he went for 40 something, right at like high 30s, low 40s that night, and Alabama won.
Who's going to do that this game?
I don't know that they're going to need to, but I think that it looks like they're going to beat the brakes off of them.
Maybe this is going to be a cliff. 18 points, 15 rebounds, 10 of them offensive.
All right, so Josh Hubbard scored 21. He's their sophomore guard for Mississippi State. He scored 21, and Claudell Harris Jr. scored 17. I don't know anything about you, Claudell Harris Jr. For senior guard as well. So the two guards went for 38 points for Mississippi State. So is this just going to be a Mark Aiden, Labaron? Just everybody eats. Chris Youngblood eats.
I mean, if they get the shooting going, I don't really see.
What do you think about Chris Youngblood so far? Because I've got a friend who's got mixed reviews on him, but I love him.
Yeah, I think he's been solid. I think, I think we're continuing to see the shooting kind of get better and better. He's getting more and more comfortable. And we have to remember he's still is very fresh playing with this team. I wouldn't say I've been disappointed in him really by any means.
Yeah, I got a friend. Every time obviously, every time he catches it, if he's got a second of space, he shoots it. And this friend is like, here we go. Youngblood catches it. I'm like, I think this shot is beautiful. And I think the shot, I
think that's exactly what they brought him here to do.
He's got a quick release. And once he shot 40% from three last year. If you can get him there, if you can get him to just 35, it's going to be a huge weapon.
Yeah.
Because his release is so fast. You put Jaron Stevenson's 3-point shot and Chris Youngblood's 3-point shot side by side.
Youngblood could maybe get 2 off.
Yes. Same with Grant. I mean, Jaron and Grant. Jaron Grant next to Chris Youngblood. It's a totally different shot.
Mm-hmm. Grant he can shoot, but boy, it is ugly.
It is so formulaic, and it is so.
He looks like that Chinese shooting robot that they wheel out at half court.
Yes. Put the coin in the back of it and let it. Put the coin, place the ball in the exact right place, and let it load, lock, release.
You think he probably had some coach when he was 5 that just hammered that into him? This is exact fundamental right here. Lock, load, release. Lock, load, release. Yes. And he just can't get it out of his head.
It's in his head in such a rhythmic way that's lock, load, release. So any nerves for tomorrow night?
No. I've said that. I said that about this Alabama football team before they played Michigan. So, I've been proven wrong when I didn't have nerves before things. But this
basketball team's handle business against inferior teams,
and that has given me confidence that I think they should go out there and handle business once again. Now, will we be sitting here after that game complaining about the same things we've complained about?
A second half lull?
Very
Absolutely.
likely, I'm sure. But
they're going to hold them at 12 points in the first half.
Yeah.
Looking at this team, looking at the recent games, they're going to hold them to 12 bleeping points in the first half. And NATO's probably going to be in their rear ends about, we hold them to this many. Because who was it? Was it the last non-conference game? Yes, it's the last non-conference game of the South Dakota State. They had a really good defensive first half. And at the end, towards the end of the half, they had 16 points or something like that. And coach was like, we're going to hold them for under 20 the whole, and then it might have got 23, 24. Mm-hmm. But he was trying to ask for some really crazy standard. I bet you they're 105 in offensive efficiency. Where are we in pace here? Their pace is 260. 260 in pace. it's gonna be it's not gonna be good.
No.
Their strength of schedule is 206 South Carolina. So you're 10-4. But this needs to be if you have a second half lull and if you're still coaching that, okay. But this first half punch that we've started to see a little bit, baby, let's load it up.
Yeah,
let's load it up
a 40-point lead
and knock them right out and say, if you want to lull and mess around in the second half, whatever, we're up by 40, we're up by 30.
This should be like 65-22 at half.
Yes, in that range. Just run them, baby.
Yeah, I would love to see Alabama break maybe 110 in this game, 120 even. That'd be cool.
I think that's a little much, but 110 might be right.
I think 110 doable against this team.
Where are we at in defense? Defense 65. So their defense is it better than ours? Alabama's defensive rating is 44th. Alabama's 4th in offense, 44th in defense, and Alabama's 5th in tempo.
I don't know that South Carolina will be prepared to run with Alabama.
5th in tempo, and what was the strength of schedule? Rating 8th overall.
I feel pretty good about this. I think this should be, like we just said,
put it in the bag, baby. Put the fries in the bag.
This should be a massive victory for Alabama. It should at no point of this game really be in question.
Fries in the bag, and let's start focusing on a road trip to Texas A&M on Saturday.
That one's going to be a little tougher.
That's going to be a lot tougher.
That one's going to be a little tougher.
Ooh. All right, we're hanging out with Mason Woods in the Derry Daniel State Farm Studio live off of McFarland Boulevard. Call Derek and his team at 205-758-3391 for all of your insurance needs. We appreciate Derek for letting us hang out here. Call and see how much Derek can save you today. Let's keep going. I got a couple more topics to get into. Dye Hall announces his new school, Sacramento State.
I don't want to see any Bama fans dunking on him. Good for him. He's getting another chance.
Go for it, man.
Get your life back.
Him. Get your life back on track.
Respect it. I'm sure that's a big ego punch. Jumping from, you went from Alabama to Texas, then you take a little step back to UCF, but then this is a whole nother league of taking a step back to Sacramento State.
But good for you. Take the humble pie.
Yes, I think it's a good move. I hope it works out for him.
If any of Jai Hall connections, if anybody knows Jai Hall, I'd love to interview him. I would love it. And it would not be a gotcha interview.
No.
It would be let's hear about
just tell me
what you think happened.
Yeah.
I love it. It would be great. And so I hope it works out well for him.
Yeah. I can't quit him.
Keep tweeting, brother.
Please.
We keep going. How much money do you think Georgia paid the Branch brothers? You get an above average safety. I was going to say mediocre, but that's not right. You get an above average safety, and you get a prospective superstar at wide receiver. A nuclear bomb just transferred into this conference. I think that the people maybe not unfamiliar with Pac-12, unfamiliar with the Big Ten, excuse me, golly, wash my mouth out with soap. Unfamiliar with USC may not realize how big of a steal what Georgia just did.
Well, you say steal. Is it really a steal if they had to pay whatever they had to pay for?
No. I just think how big of a gift.
Yes. I would venture a guess as to say for the both of them, you've got to be probably in at least that $2 million range, if not more, maybe $3 million.
Yeah. So Branch this past year, sophomore, 47 catches, 503 yards, 1 touchdown. And so you're thinking, what are you talking about, Joe? That's terrible. The freshman season, 31 receptions, 320 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
USC also had a quarterback carousel this year. So, take that into account.
Yes. I think that his speed, I think that his ability to run routes, of course, he had a little bit of drop issues, but you think about what Arian Smith was able to do for the Georgia offense. He was always open. He was.
Now, against Alabama,
he couldn't. His hands were like bricks, and that's thankful for, if you're an Alabama fan, his hands were like bricks. And goodness gracious, how many times did you see 11 drop the bleeping football for Georgia this year? I think you plug Zachariah Branch into that role, and those drops drop significantly. And the rate of getting open is even greater than Aaron Smith. I think this is a really big deal for Georgia, a team that lacked playmakers this year. I mean, obviously, they brought in Thomas and Colby Young, and they both ran into legal issues, and that became a depth issue. You never did replace Thad McConkey and Brock Bowers, but I think this Zachariah Branch kid, maybe, hey, I'll own it. Maybe I'm just influenced by College Football 25. He is an absolute he's an absolute weapon. He's always open. If you play with USC ever, you can always get him open on anything man-to-man routes or anything down the field. I think it's going to be a real big get for Georgia, especially a team that's trying to reestablish themselves after, it was a fine year, but everybody saw their offense was limited. Everybody saw that their offense had limited playmakers. And so as someone covering the conference, I think this is a really big deal. And as someone covering Alabama, I think this is a pretty large threat or a pretty significant get for a team trying to stay on top of the conference.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just an elite offensive weapon that, one that, like you said, has maybe flown under the radar a bit given some of the situation around him at USC. Wasn't really able to shine there. But get him at Georgia where I think they've got a pretty good quarterback coming up. Ryan, I don't even know how to say his name. Puglisi. I would imagine, or Georgia fans should be very excited about this pickup.
So let's continue.
How much? I mean, money wise, I'm looking at the on-3 evaluation for Zachariah Branch. They only have him at like $675,000. I think that's not even close to what they paid for this duo.
You said 600?
That's what they have. $675,000 is his evaluation
for both of them.
For just the one.
No, I bet you they.
I bet you they paid figures for the two. If not,
I bet you they paid 2.5.
That's kind of
that's a guess, a total guess. I want to make that clear. But
how'd they split it between the two? And how'd that go over at home?
Mom and Dad kept it. Mom. It was a.
They had to sit down the other one and say, "Look, buddy, you're great and all, but come on, Zachariah, he's gonna get the chunk of this."
Whichever one's more responsible is getting the chunk of it. Whoever's not going to go spend it on gold chains.
Whoever's not going to go get a speeding charge in Athens.
Big old tattoos and stuff. Which I got nothing against tattoos, but
no.
I mean, spend your money wisely is the point.
Yeah, if you're gonna get those tattoos, get good ones.
Right.
Don't go the Ryan Williams route.
We love you, Ryan. All right, you want to finish up here with Paul Feinbaum?
Paul, what are we doing?
Talking about this ReliaQuest Bowl. All right. I don't think Kalen DeBoer, this is from Paul Feinbaum, and this is quotes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Kalen DeBoer could have dialed up a more inappropriate way to finish the season had Alabama won. There wouldn't have been a lot of credit given for the win because of the opponent. But you can't fight 10 wins. You can live off that. It takes you into the offseason. It gives you some momentum as you're building your roster towards the upcoming season. But a loss, especially one that looks so inept, I believe is going to haunt Kalen DeBoer. And I understand that he isn't going to get fired, and I think it's absurd to even have the conversation, but to say he's on some sort of a hot seat, I think is accurate. That doesn't mean very much, but all it means is that people are watching him very closely. End quote.
I guess. That's such a nothing burger of a thing to say. That's such a this could be happening, and I'm not saying anything, but there's a slight possibility that maybe there's a chance of his seat maybe even being hot, possibly. Like it's just he didn't say anything there.
Big time gray area guy.
Yes.
It might be hot. I think it's accurate to say it could be hot.
It's just a preposterous. Like he said nothing in that string.
I'll tell you, he's not going to get fired. Thanks for that.
Cool,
also,
Paul.
We know that,
man.
We know that. But it might be warm.
There's
what is warm? Warm is subjective. Now, I think he does have a point. 10-3 does look really, really good on your
Looks a
first year
whole lot
record
better.
versus 9-4.
Which, God, we're such idiots. That is such a really meaningless difference, but it looks so much better 10-3.
Do you care about the way that Alabama played in the ReliaQuest Bowl?
A bit, certainly.
Why?
I do think that the weather, and I don't want to be this guy, but like that had a big effect on that game. The sloppiness from Alabama. You know, you jump out, you have the horrible affected by the weather, 3 turnovers on 4 plays, and then it's just like what the whole team is down at that point. You can't really come back. Michigan is rolling, whatever. I still am
But I think it's full. Like I just got to make a point here. The defense played an A game.
Yes.
They gave you so the team didn't play. It looked unprepared or inept or what was the word that he used right here? I just was on the tab.
I think he said inept. What is it? Inept performance
right here. Especially one, but a loss, especially one that looked so inept. Like the defense did not look inept at all.
Defense looked stout.
So you're just having problems on one side of the ball,
and that just is going to change dramatically moving to next year. So
yes, use your bleeping brains.
Yeah, I mean, like he didn't. That statement was nothing. It's just him trying to drum up a little bit of stuff. Like we said, there were so many non-statements in that. So many. Well, I think there's a chance that this could be maybe what's happening, possibly. Anybody that really watched that game saw Alabama's defense play exceptionally well, given the, two arms tied behind their back and feet tied together they were handed at the beginning. With the offense, sure, you can complain about the offense, whatever. It did not look good in that game. It did not look good against Oklahoma. It didn't look good against Tennessee. You can complain about that, but this offense will look, like we just said, dramatically different next year. You have a brand new quarterback. You have new receivers coming in. You have new offensive linemen stepping up, new running backs, new tight ends. So this, just bite your tongue for a minute and see what it looks like, and then you can have your opinion.
Mason Woods, what is a better ploy? What is a better tact? What's a better strategy for this Alabama football team in the offseason? If you're a psychologist, let's just say you're a coach. You win the last game. You win the ReliaQuest Bowl against Michigan 45-10, 31-10, 28-10, whatever blowout, whatever you picture as a blowout. And you go into the offseason, you guys are the best. You guys are going to get it together. Everything's going to be okay. Everything's pushing behind. Like, it's still Alabama. All the standards are still there. You can do it. You're the man. Y'all are the best. Or you lose 19-13, and all offseason you hear, you ain't bleep. You can't do anything. Alabama's dead. Dynasty's gone. George is the king. Ole Miss. Texas. Tennessee. You guys, y'all are nothing. You're nothing in the conference. You're nothing. Over and over, nothing. Failure. What do you think plays better in the fuel system for fourth quarter? What do you think plays better in the fuel system for summer workouts, for fall camp? I don't know. Well, what do you think?
I'm going to go with option B.
Nothing. You stink. Nobody believes in you.
This will be, should be, by all accounts, an Alabama team scorned next year.
Because here
that has felt it, and they are for the next foreseeable future until they get on the field next fall. They will be disrespected on just about every college football discussion that's going to happen between now and then. I guarantee at some point it'll be brought up. How Alabama's not what they used to be. Oh, Kalen DeBoer isn't the coach. Nick Saban was. Whatever. That's pretty good fuel.
This seems eerily like a concept that I think needs to probably be dead in the Alabama football sphere. Lank. That's what it sounds like. Lank a lot. But I would contend that the Alabama football program has not had an offseason that is going to have this year. That was a Coach Saban, Jalen Milroe, Terry and Arnold concept that they all kind of brainstormed. Let's all be honest. those teams were not going to be doubted ever. That was manufactured BS. That was manufactured hooey to let's come on, let's feed somebody. Let's see if we can. I don't think you're going to have to manufacture this. I think you're going to see it anytime you're online. Billy player, whatever. I don't want to put it on any player because that's not. I don't want to put that juju on him. But Billy player stinks, and Billy player is no good. And I think it's going to be actually real with this team. I'm not saying that that's going to lead to a national championship, and I'm not saying it's going to lead to really anything. But I do think from a psychological standpoint, he talked about Paul Feinbaum. He's talking about winning, getting momentum for the last game, going into 2025. Look, you were going to have roster turnover, period.
Yeah.
Win or lose the Rely Quest Bowl. You're already in the middle. You're like 17 guys already before the Rely Quest Bowl. Now you're at 23, 24, whatever the case may be. Fine. That was always going to happen. I think the Rely Quest Bowl, now maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, but it was handled very well. Like, hey, this is a one-off exhibition. Everybody who's here that wants to play, just give it your best. Jalen Milroe, Tyler Booker, just give it your best. Yeah. And we didn't win, but man, it's the end of the rec season. Like, next year's going to look a whole lot different.
Yeah,
next year was always going to look like, whether you won or lost. I think it was just here's 60 minutes of exhibition football.
You have baked in motivation now for next season. Mm-hmm. You don't have to manufacture any of it, like you just said with the link here. Like what Dan Lanning did with Oregon this year constantly. You don't have to make anything up now. There will be active haters against Alabama, people actively preying on the downfall, which looks to be maybe realistic now. I think it's a bit short-sighted to say that Alabama is gonna fall, but we'll see.
Kalen DeBoer, it's all on you. We'll see. We'll find out.
Your seat is scorching hot, apparently.
Oh, I wouldn't say it's inaccurate to say. I would say it's inaccurate to say that it's warm. And maybe you would call me out of touch, but I don't think Greg Byrne.
He's not a short-sighted man.
Yeah, I don't think Greg Byrne has had any thoughts of, did I make the wrong decision? Yet. Not yet. Now, maybe we'll get there 6 months, a year, 2 years. I don't know.
You lose to Tennessee again.
At home next year. That's a different story. We'll certainly talk about that as well. Ty Lockwood expected to transfer. I can't see the rest of that tweet. As we get out of here, let's find out where that is so we can leave the people with the most accurate information. Chris Hummer and Matt Zenit says that Ty Lockwood is expected to transfer to Boston College. Okay.
Gonna join the AIQB.
Within the Walsh Writing Network. So Kim Rankin's going to get to cover Dylan Lonergan and Ty Lockwood. Good move. Bill O'Brien says, I'm going to pick the scraps from my old relationships of this Alabama roster.
I think he's going to build a very successful for Boston College, but successful nonetheless.
Yeah, another 9-win football team?
Yeah.
Boom. 9 wins. We're
awesome.
We're happy.
Yeah.
9 wins with one good upset.
Get to the ACC championship once in a blue moon, maybe. Yeah.
9 wins with a good upset or two. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we love that. Bill O'Brien, Ty Lockwood, congratulations. Hope you guys have a successful future together.
Sure.
We'll get out of here for the day. We appreciate everybody who watched us on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, who checked us out on the BamaCentral YouTube channel. If you're watching us on the BamaCentral YouTube channel, stick around. We will have the Nate Oates press conference before the South Carolina game here in just a little bit on the channel. Leave us a comment. You're a real one if you've made it all the way to the end, and I appreciate you so much. Just want to thank you guys personally. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon, and we'll be back tomorrow to talk more Alabama sports on the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral and BamaCentral.com.